Yes, good morning, students. Good morning to one and all. I hope you're doing well, and I hope your major test also went well. Shubhoday, Ganesh, Chandan, you don't know that, na? All right. So let us, without wasting much of time, let us start quickly. Yeah, we are up with the time also. Suprabhat, Pritesh, Pritesh, message me your major test individual scores, PCB, right? I know your overall score. Message me your individual score also. Chandan, you can't say Iron Man is stronger than Thanos. After getting all the stones, Thanos was the strongest person, right? So let's start. Yeah. So let us quickly see what we studied last class, right? And then we'll move ahead. So we started with Arrhenius equation. We have not yet discussed the Arrhenius equation. We just saw the effects of temperature which was observed by Ventop, right? Good morning, Dhanush. Good morning, Bhagyashri. Good morning, Jyoti. So we just saw that effect of temperature, correct? Yes, Athar. It's the last one, mostly. So we saw, what did we concluded here? According to him, if you increase the temperature by 10 degrees Celsius or 10 Kelvin, rate of reaction doubles itself. We said whether you write rate constant or rate, it is same thing because rate is proportional to rate constant. So if you take rate constant at T temperature, rate constant at T plus 10 temperature, then what will be the ratio? It will be 2 times. That means if you increase the temperature by 10 Kelvin, rate of reaction becomes 2 times. And then I gave you a general formula for this. That was, if you increase the temperature by a multiple of 10, let's say n times 10. If the temperature was T, you increase the temperature by 10 times n, right? So then your rate of reaction will increase by 2 to the power n, right? For example, if you are at 298 Kelvin and you change your temperature to 308 Kelvin, right? So in that case, you can write K at 298 Kelvin. ऊपर में you can write 298 Kelvin plus 20 you want to write. 20 means 2 into 10. So your n value is 2. So you can write rate will become 2 to the power 2. That means 4 times. So when you increase the temperature from 298 Kelvin to 308 Kelvin, the rate of reaction will become 4 times. Correct? This is how we studied. Why is it written as tripled? No, it is not written as tripled. It is written between 2 to 3. It was found to be approximately 2.3 Curie. The value was approximately found to be 2 to 3. ठीक है? 2.3 actually, to be precise. 2.2 to 2. हाँ वही ना, doubled or tripled, basically that only. The value can range between 2 to 3. Ganesh, in the definition also, the value can range between 2 to 3, right? Under certain circumstances, it can be 3, but usually under the experimental condition, it has been found to be this much value, 2.3. ठीक है? You don't worry about it. You remember 2.3 only, right? For your exam point of view also. Right. So let's move ahead. We solved one numerical also on this 16 times, correct? Now we'll start today's class. Yeah. Now we are starting with Arrhenius equation. Good morning, Sakshi. You're late, Sakshi. So Arrhenius equation we are starting with. Now, what is Arrhenius equation, right? So Arrhenius equation was used to study the effect of temperature on rate of reaction, right? Pritesh, we have not done enough concepts yesterday, right? That's why. So That's the reason. We have just done one formula. That's all. And anyways, I have already done na that you can consider it like that only. 2 to the power 2 wala. That one formula only we have discussed. Right. Now, a mathematical relationship between rate constant. Intentionally, I didn't put this because there was not many things to do. A mathematical relation between rate constant and temperature. How do you study the effect of temperature on the rate constant? So it is given by, rate constant is given by A e to the power minus EA by RT. First thing, this is the formula. Now what is K? K is your rate constant. All of us know it. What is A? A is called pre-exponential factor, or it is also called Arrhenius constant. It is called pre-exponential factor because it is coming before exponential term, or it is also called Arrhenius factor or Arrhenius constant. Okay. Now here, what does EA represent? EA represents activation energy. What is it? We'll see soon. Then T represents temperature in Kelvin. Temperature in Kelvin. Right? So T represents temperature in Kelvin. And R is a gas constant. All of us know R is a gas constant. Its value is 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. Correct? This is what is the formula. So I hope the formula is clear. There is nothing to worry about in the formula. Now, how this formula is arising, that is one. And how this formula arises, actual derivation we can't do. Right? It is small e only, Kayuri. It is exponential e. It is exponential e to the power minus. So the derivation of this formula we can't do. We can understand how this formula has come, but derivation comes from statistical mechanics, Boltzmann distribution, say, right? So we'll not go to the derivation of this, but we'll see how it has come. E is exponential term, Kayuri. Kayuri, E is exponential. You write no e to the power minus x. Mathematics, Kayuri, you write no e to the power minus x. E is what? Exponential. Is that clear? E does not represent any physical quantity here. It is just an exponential value. Okay. Now, let us see what is activation energy and all. We'll see two types of graphs, right? Before I go to the activation energy, let me tell you one thing. What happens here, right? So if you see the activation energy definition, we have taken one reaction. We'll plot the graph for this, right? That graph is very important for your organic reactions also. So when you react H2 plus I2, it gives you 2HI. So the reaction is H2 gas reacts with I2 gas to give you 2HI gas. Let's say this is your reaction. Now in this, the reaction does not happen directly. So what happens is, first H2 combines with your I2 to form a intermediate, or you can say activated complex. Intermediate, or you can say activated complex, or you can say transition state in short. It can also be said as transition state. So one intermediate will be formed before the product. For example, biology students might be knowing, when you write enzyme catalysis, you write enzyme substrate combine to form enzyme substrate complex, right? Which dissociates into enzyme and product, right? You have a two-step mechanism for enzyme catalysis, right? So similarly, this is the intermediate which is formed before the product, which is called activated complex. Now this will dissociate into product like this, and you'll get HI molecule and HI molecule. So this is a general reaction. Now we'll plot this in terms of your graph. Now another important thing is, only those reactant molecules which can participate in the reaction and form this activated complex can only give you product. If reactant molecules are not able to form this activated complex, they cannot give you the product. That is the meaning of it. only those reactant molecules which can combine with each other and form activated complex will give you the product. I hope that is clear, right? Now let us come and understand this in the form of graph. What does it mean actually? It means if you start with a reaction that is H2 plus I2, right? So it says H2 plus I2 directly does not give product. H2 and I2 directly does not give product. It first forms an activated complex. And your activated complexes are highly unstable. They are highly unstable. Highly unstable. So you cannot isolate them. Before you can isolate them from the reaction mixture, they will decompose. So they are highly unstable. They are formed only in the solution. You cannot separate them out. So since they are highly unstable, the activated complex, since they are highly unstable, their energy will be very high. Right? Stable species have less energy and unstable species have high energy. So since the activated complexes are unstable, therefore their energy is very high. Let's say they lie somewhere here. Let us give it a number 1000 joule. Correct? Let us give it a number 1000 joule. Right? Now, the question here is only those reactant molecules which can increase their energy level up to 1000 joule can only get converted into product. Right? Let's say the reactant molecules have the energy of 400 joule. Let us say. So reactant molecules at room temperature will have some energy. Why they have some energy? You remember at room temperature, energy is given by 3 by 2 RT. 3 by 2 RT, thermal energy is present with every molecule. So at room temperature, reactant molecules have how much energy? 400 joule. Now, in order for reactant molecule to convert into product, they must cross this barrier. If reactant molecule starts from here and if it absorbs energy and it reaches somewhere around 800 joule, then it cannot get converted into product. It will fall back, right? If the reactant molecules absorb some energy and reaches the value of 1000 joule, then it can get converted into product, right? So now, how much energy it has? 400 joule. How much energy it require to convert into product? How much energy it require to convert into product? So the difference, it already have 400 joule. And how much energy does it require to convert into product? How much energy does it require to convert into product? This is known as activation energy. This is known as activation energy. That is 1000 minus 400. So how much energy is required by reactant molecules? 600 joule energy is required by reactant molecules to get converted into product, right? So in short, you can say minimum energy which must be provided to a reactant molecules or chemical system in order for the reactants to undergo reaction and form products is known as activation energy, right? I hope it is clear, right? So reactant molecules should absorb how much energy to reach here? 600 joule. So 600 joule is your activation energy. Definition is minimum energy absorbed by the reactant molecules in order to get converted into product is known as your activation energy. One more thing, this value is given a name of the topmost value, 1000 joule, is known as threshold energy. It is known as threshold energy. What is the definition of threshold energy? It is the minimum energy reactant molecule must have so that they can get converted into product. What is activation energy? The energy absorbed by reactant molecules so that their energy become equal to threshold energy, right? So let me write it over here. Minimum energy absorbed by reactant molecules so that their energy becomes equal becomes equal to threshold energy, right? And you can say threshold energy is minimum energy reactant molecules must have to convert into product, right? Both the definitions are important, right? Now, another important thing which you should observe here is, what is this? What is this value? What is this value? This value is what? Energy of product minus energy of reactant. What do you say this? Energy of product minus energy of reactant. What do you say this? This is known as enthalpy. Remember, enthalpy was written as summation enthalpy of formation of product minus enthalpy of formation of reactant. Correct? So therefore, you can say this is nothing but enthalpy of this reaction, right? And it will come out to be what? It will come out to be negative. It will come out to be negative. Enthalpy of formation will come out to be negative. All right. Is that clear? Right. Now, important relationship. Threshold energy is equal to activation energy plus energy of reactant, right? Threshold energy is equals to activation energy plus energy of reactant molecules, right? This is another thing. Now, one more thing which you can observe here is that if you take a backward direction reaction, another important thing is here in this graph, delta H of reaction will come out to be negative. Why it will come out to be negative? Why delta H is negative? Because product energy is less than reactant energy. Let's say product energy here will be how much? You can say product energy is how much? 200 joule. Let us assume. So delta H will be how much? 200 joule minus 400 joule. Minus 200 joule. So delta H is negative. That means it's a graph of what reaction? It's a graph of exothermic reaction. It's a graph of exothermic reaction. In endothermic graph, what will happen? Reactant will have lower energy, product will have higher energy. The rest graph will remain same in endothermic. Now, another important thing is, this is activation energy is fine. If you consider the backward direction reaction, that means you're saying your product are getting converted into reactant. This is your backward direction reaction. Correct? So for backward direction reaction, you can say, what is your activation energy now? What is your activation energy now? This is your activation energy for backward direction reaction. Right? So this is your activation energy for backward direction. Correct? Now, what will be the activation energy for backward direction? 200 joule is the energy now. How much it should become? 1000 joule. So what is your activation energy for backward reaction? 1000 minus 200. That means how much? 800 joule. So you can observe here, what is your activation energy of backward reaction? 800 joule. Activation energy of forward reaction? 600 joule. Can you tell me what is the difference between activation energy of backward direction reaction and activation energy of forward reaction? When you subtract them, when do you subtract them? What is the value you will get? You will get 200, 800 minus 600, 200, correct? And just now you calculated what was your enthalpy of reaction? 200 joule minus 400 joule. So your enthalpy of reaction was how much? Minus 200 joule. And the difference between these two, 800 joule, 600 joule, is also 200 joule. That means, can I say enthalpy of reaction is activation energy of forward direction minus activation energy of backward direction. You get lot of questions on this particular formula. If you see, you'll get lot of questions on this formula. Right? Enthalpy of reaction is also given as in activation energy of forward minus backward. Why forward minus backward? Not backward minus forward. Why forward minus backward, not backward minus forward? Because we want our enthalpy to be negative, right? So it's an exothermic process, so our enthalpy should be negative. So therefore we should subtract higher value from lower value. 600 minus 800 is minus 200 joule, right? So I hope this is clear. In forward reaction that has to become 1000, you written as 100. I have written 1000 only. Shreya, I have written 1000 only, no? Okay, got it. Backward direction mein na, haan. Understood, Shreya. Thank you. This is 1000, guys. Thank you, Shreya. So, but you told this reaction is non-spontaneous. When did I say that this reaction is non-spontaneous? Pritish, when did I say that? Where I said it is non-spontaneous? Previous slide mein. I did not say it is non-spontaneous, Pritish. Pritish, can you tell me how and where I said? I did not say that. Right. Now, many of you are asking, energy of reactant is greater than energy activation energy, right? So, see, obviously it is the fact that it is not necessarily true. Okay? There is most of the time it is true, right? For example, the data which we have taken is weird data. Actually, we need to correct it. If reactant is having 200 joule energy, you cannot provide it 1000 joule energy by heating. If you try to provide it very much high amount of energy, reactant molecule might get decomposed, right? So there is a certain value by which you can heat and increase the activation energy, right? If you try to increase the energy, if you try to heat it more than the energy of the reactant, then there is a high circumstances that the reactant molecule may get decomposed. So therefore, preferably, we assume our activation energy should be greater than reactant energy. But this is not hard and fast rule. Some cases are there where it may not be true also, right? So for that, for you to understand, if it is 800 joule, activation energy should be 200 joule. The data which we have taken is weird. So, but doesn't matter. You can, for understanding it is fine. Just remember, activation energy should be usually less than energy of reactant molecules. The major reason for that is you cannot increase energy of reactant molecules by any amount, right? There is a limit to it. If you try to increase it very high, then the reactant molecules might get decomposed, right? So that is the reason it is written here, but it's not very important. You can ignore it. It's not that important, right? For you, this part is important. 1, 2, enthalpy of reaction. 3. These 3 things are important. Very important, right? I hope it is clear. Now we are going to see the effect of temperature, right? Are Pooja, I told you I have taken a weird data. This is not in compliance with this. I have already told you. Still you are asking the same question. Did I mention any reaction here? No, I took a random data. It doesn't matter. I took a random data. Okay, if you want to do more efforts, do the following. Make it 800, make it 400 and solve everything again. Then it will satisfy this. You can do it. It doesn't matter. That's what I said. It doesn't matter. I have taken a random data. I have not taken a data to comply this. Okay? So that's what. So there is, if you try to think if and buts will spoil your life, right? I have already given the explanation for both, right? So this is what it means. Is there any other doubt, guys? Is there any other doubt here? All right. So this slide is very important. You get a lot of questions from this. Please keep this in mind. This is extremely very important. Now, all of you know activation energy concept, right? So in this formula, you know what is activation energy, right? So see carefully, logically, see logically. Which reaction, Athar, were you not listening? I told you that you'll get question from this. You'll get question from this. Activation energy, forward will be given, backward will be given, calculate enthalpy of reaction. I already told Athar, right? This is a good question which somebody has asked. What is reaction coordinate, right? What is reaction coordinate? That's a good question to be asked. If answer comes in positive, answer will not come in positive. No, it's an exothermic reaction. If answer comes in positive, the graph should be like this. It should be an endothermic process. Product energy should be greater than reactant energy. You should have an endothermic graph. Then only enthalpy will come out to be positive. Yeah. What is reaction coordinate? Reaction coordinate is with the progress of reaction. As the reaction progressed, you can take time as the reaction coordinate. You can take various factors as the reaction coordinate. Bond energy, bond length, various factors are considered as reaction coordinate. It means as the reaction progresses, which parameters change? Bond length change, bond energy change, time change. So any of those factors can be taken here, right? So I think Hina, I have answered your doubt also. It will come positive only if it is an endothermic process, and its graph will be like this. Product energy should be greater than reactant energy, right? So now, important thing here is, you see here, there are two reactions. Let us say there are two reactions. Now, I'm writing the graph here. Energy versus reaction coordinate. This is a reaction 1 ka graph, and this is the reaction 2 graph. Now, can you tell me, this is reaction 1, this is reaction 2. Can you tell me reaction will be faster in which case? Reaction will be faster in which case? First or second? Reaction will be faster in which case? First or second? Second, right? So second reaction will be faster. Why it is faster? Because activation energy in second is less than activation energy in first. Correct? So if you increase the activation energy, rate decreases. So rate decreases. If you increase the activation energy, rate of reaction K2 will be greater than K1. So rate decreases if you increase the activation energy, which you can understand from here also. As you increase the activation energy, this value will increase. This value will increase, but it will increase in negative. Since it increase in negative, therefore rate constant will decrease. So as you increase activation energy, rate decreases. This is the first factor. Now we are going to see the effect of temperature. Now we are going to see the effect of temperature on the rate, right? So see carefully. Now actually, to be honest, we'll come to this in collision theory also. So I'll discuss it there. How many molecules can cross this barrier? How many molecules can cross this barrier, right? That value is this. This is fraction of molecules which can cross the barrier, which can cross threshold energy. This was given by Boltzmann. distribution. So to understand that, we need to study Boltzmann distribution curve. We'll not study in detail. We'll study basics of it. We'll study the basics of Boltzmann distribution curve. You have studied it in states of matter also, most probable velocity, average velocity, all those things, right? Same thing. So fraction of molecules, kinetic energy versus kinetic energy you are plotting, right? So now you think the graph increases like this, right? Let's say there are 1,000 molecules. There are 1,000 molecules in the system, right? There are 1,000 molecules in the system. So now this value is the kinetic energy. It's a kinetic energy possessed by maximum fraction of molecules, right? So let us say that fraction of molecules is 400. Only out of 1,000, only 400 molecules have an energy of this kinetic energy, correct? So there are 400 molecules having this kinetic energy value. So you can say most probable kinetic energy is this. 400 molecules have most probable kinetic energy, right? So what happens after this? As you increase the kinetic energy, the fraction of molecules are less, right? Let's say this is Ke dash. So for kinetic energy greater than Ke dash, the number of molecules, let's say, is only 200, right? And for kinetic energy less than Ke dash is, let us say, not 400, 300, let's say here, and 300, let's say here, correct? So now this is the distribution of the graph. Now what you do is, you have this graph going like this, right? Now what does the area under the graph represent? We have studied it in states of matter also. Area under this graph represent the total number of molecules. Total number of molecules. That means if you find the area under the graph, you should get 1,000. If you find the area under this graph, you'll get 1,000 total molecules. Okay? Now what happens when you increase the temperature? This also was present in states of matter. When you increase the temperature, kinetic energy will increase, because kinetic energy is given by 3/2 RT, correct? So as you increase the temperature, height of the graph decreases, width of the graph increases. Height of the graph decreases, width of the graph increases. So that is what you can see here. As temperature is increased by 10, the height is decreased. You can see the height is decreased, but width is increased. Width of the graph is increased, right? But area will remain same. That means, because if there were initially 1,000 molecules, at a higher temperature also you'll have 1,000 molecules. So area will not change. Right? So now let's say initially your fraction of molecules at T temperature was this fraction of molecules having this much kinetic energy. Now as you increase the temperature, this is the maximum fraction of molecules. This is the maximum fraction of molecules having kinetic energy Ke double dash. So this is now your most probable kinetic energy. Correct? So value of kinetic energy you can see is increased because temperature is increased. Right? So now you find the area under the graph. So if you take this section, right, we are finding the area under the graph here. So this will give you the molecules. This will give you the molecules, number of molecules having high energy or having energy greater than maximum kinetic energy. Correct? So these molecules have most probable kinetic energy. So these molecules have high energy. But if you increase the temperature, see the area. This is the number of molecules having more kinetic energy. So you can see as you increase temperature, kinetic energy of molecules increases, right? Kinetic energy of more number of molecules increases, or you can say as you increase temperature, number of molecules having high kinetic energy increases, right? Now, the more number of molecules have high energy, that means more number of molecules can cross this barrier. As you increase the temperature, number of molecules having high energy. Now, more number of molecules will be able to cross this barrier because more number of molecules have high energy now. If more number of molecules can cross this barrier, that means your rate of reaction will increase, right? That means your rate of reaction will increase, right? No, Athar, we cannot take the area. Athar, let us assume this was your activation energy. This kinetic energy was your activation energy. Now this side represent the molecules having energy greater than activation energy. Or let's say this is your threshold energy. So this side of the molecule represent the molecules having energy greater than threshold energy, and this side represent the molecules having energy less than threshold energy. So which energy will decide your rate of reaction? The molecules having more than threshold energy, right? So therefore you have to consider only this side of the graph, not this side of the graph. Is that clear? Fraction of molecules is decreasing. What is the problem in that, Prashant? I never said fraction of molecules is increasing. I never said that. Fraction of molecules is increasing. Prashant. I simply said as you increase the temperature, height decreases. That means the kinetic energy of the molecules increases, right? But the distribution will change now, right? That means now at T plus 10 temperature, this 200 molecules will have the kinetic energy. Fraction of molecules is decreased. So most probable kinetic energy will be possessed by 200 molecules. This will become 400. This will become 400. Now you can see more number of molecules are having high kinetic energy. Initially, less number of molecules were having less kinetic energy, right? Yes, Athar, it is from KTG. When temperature is increased, it will take less time to form product as the energy of reactants will equal to the threshold energy easily. Yes, Neeraj, you are almost right. Neeraj, you are right. Prashant, is it clear? Height decreases, but there is almost no change in the width of the graph. Width of the graph is changed, Prakriti. What are you talking about? Prakriti, what are you talking about? Width of height decreases, but width is increased. No. How can you say that? This is increase in the width only. Prakriti, initially the width was only this much. Now the width is this much. Width is increased, no? How can you say width is not increased? I have clearly written here, height decreases, width increases. Prashant, is it clear? Prashant? All right. So obviously fraction of molecules is decreased. That's why I have taken the data here. Now the distribution will change when you increase the temperature. Now in short, it means the number of molecules which will have energy greater than threshold energy now at a higher temperature will be more. Therefore, rate of reaction increases. So you can say as temperature increases, rate of reaction increases because fraction of molecules having energy greater than threshold energy increases. This is the summary, right? Array, since activation energy is increasing, Gauri, we never said activation energy is increasing. In this whole graph, I never said activation energy is increasing. I said kinetic energy you can assume as threshold energy. I said kinetic energy you can assume as threshold energy. I did not use activation energy, Gauri. since the activation energy is increasing. How can you say activation energy is increasing, Gauri? We have kept the activation energy as constant. We have not assumed that activation energy is changing. We are just saying temperature is changing, keeping the activation energy constant. Gauri, we are not talked about activation energy in this graph. We just said as you increase temperature, number of molecules having energy greater than threshold energy. Let's say this is your threshold energy. So number of molecules having energy greater than threshold energy is increased. Initially it was 300, now it is 400. Right? It can be if you don't change the it can be like if you don't change the reactant profile, then it will not change. Right? If the reaction mechanism is same, then it will not change. The molecules exactly, Kirtan, you are right. The molecules rate of activation increases and the fraction increase. Increase temperature to such high rate and decrease. Then in that case, it is difficult to plot the graph, Abhishek. It might directly show graph like this, decomposition graph. We never know. We need to check the graph. Not activation energy. Yeah, Kirtan, you can, Ravi Kiran, you can say that. Ravi Kiran, you can say that. All right. So we have already answered almost all the doubts. Let's move ahead. No Hema. Hina, it cannot. Hina, it cannot. Athar, we can use any molecules, beta. This reaction can be plotted for any reaction. What do you mean by fraction of molecules? Number 400 by 1000. Fraction of molecule means 400 divided by 1000. Simple. Number of molecules divided by total number of molecules. Guys, these much doubts you should have asked when you were studying it in states of matter. Right? You have almost made me explain this graph for half an hour. And you have asked so many questions. That means you have not studied anything in states of matter. This graph 90% is covered in states of matter only. Right. All right. So let's move ahead. Yeah. So yeah, this is the effect, guys. So I think we have explained the effect of activation energy also. We have explained the effect of temperature also. Let us write it here. As you increase temperature, rate of reaction increases. Okay. So activation energy increases, rate decreases, temperature increases, rate increases. In short, right? So let's move ahead then. We can do the following, guys. We can derive 3 equations out of it. Right? We can derive 3 equations out of it. Then we'll go to the numerical part. Please pay attention. We know we are taking the mathematical explanation of Arrhenius. Of Arrhenius equation. Right? All of us know K is given by A e to the power minus EA by RT. This is your first equation. This is your first equation, right? So you know if you plot K versus temperature, as temperature increases, rate increases, it should follow an graph like this, increasing graph, right? Okay, there is a by missing here. And if you plot versus activation energy, it will decay exponentially, assuming temperature and activation energy are constant in the respective graph. You can say EA constant here, you can say temperature constant here, right? These two things you should know. This is your first equation of Arrhenius. Now we'll plot the second equation of Arrhenius, right? Now the second equation you can take log on both sides. Let us take ln on both sides. So ln k is equals to ln A into e to the power minus EA by RT. So ln k is equals to ln A, this is whole A, this whole is B. So ln A into ln B is ln A plus ln B, ln A plus ln e to the power minus EA by RT, ln A plus ln B. Now you can apply the property ln A to the power B is B ln A, right? So this is ln A to the power B. You can apply the property ln K is equals to ln A. Now B will come outside, B ln A. So you'll get minus EA by RT outside, ln E. So ln E is nothing but 1 because base and exponent is same. So it will be 1. This whole value will be 1. So your expression becomes ln K is equals to ln A minus EA by RT. This is your expression number 2. This is your expression number 2. You can write it in terms of log also. Let us write it over here. ln K is equals to ln A minus EA by RT. Right? If I plot this graph, let us plot this on y-axis. Right? And let us write it like this. EA by R into 1 by T. Let us write it like this. And let us plot 1 by T on x-axis. Then your slope becomes minus EA by R. And your intercept becomes ln A. So if you plot this graph, you'll get a graph like this. ln K versus 1 by T graph. There is a negative slope, right? So graph will come something like this, right? Now the question is, will this graph touch the y-axis? Will this graph touch the y-axis? Will this graph touch the y-axis? No. Why no? Why it will not touch the y-axis? Because it will touch the y-axis when 1 by T becomes 0. And 1 by T will become 0 when your temperature becomes infinity, which is not possible. Right? Adesh, 0 Kelvin is possible. Who told you 0 Kelvin is not possible? Right? Theoretically, it is possible. Na? Temperature will become infinity if 1 by T becomes 0. So therefore, this graph cannot be extended to y-axis. Do not touch it. Okay? All right. So this is the graph looks like. What is the slope here? The slope here is minus EA by R. Now keep in mind one important thing. That is, you can write it in terms of log also. ln is 2.303 log. So multiply or divide, right? If you want to convert ln into log, so this ln will become 2.303 log, 2.303 log. So take 2.303 common. ln K can be written as, just a minute. You can write it as 2.303 log K is equals to 2.303 log A minus EA by RT. Now take 2.303 common, you'll get and cancel it. Log K is equals to log A minus EA by, since you're taking common, it will become denominator here, right? All right. Now you can check this. This will become like this, right? Now what you can do here is, you can plot this graph also. You'll get similar graph. Log K versus 1 by T. You'll get a similar graph. with slope minus EA by 2.303R. So do not by heart remember what you're plotting on axis. If you're plotting log K, slope will be minus EA by 2.303R. If you're plotting ln, slope will be minus EA by R. Right? This is very, very important. Right? Adesh, to find the intercept, it is not necessary to get it only from the graph. You can find the intercept by making two equations and simplifying also. It is not necessary you get boundary conditions, you know, boundary conditions. You can apply the boundary conditions, limits and find LNA. Usme kya hai? It's not necessary to find it only from the graph, na? Right. So these are the two graphs. This is your previous slide, Sumit. Danush, I'm not muted, beta. I am speaking. Right. Yeah. So this is your second equation, guys. So remember all these three equations, you get numericals only on these three equations. Now the third equation is very obvious. What you can do is write your log K as log A minus EA by RT. Right? We saw if you increase the temperature by 10 Kelvin, you can get a rate of reaction double. But Naren, I don't know what NCRT means here, beta. Naren, I have given you the logical reason. You can mail NCRT and ask them why they have touched it on y-axis. My logic says it should not touch. Why it should not touch? It will touch when your 1 by T becomes 0. 1 by T becomes 0 means temperature should tends to infinity, which is not possible. Right, Ganesh? Naren, you can mail NCRT and ask them. Right, this is what I have studied. It should not touch. Right? I have missed 2.303. Yes, correct. There will be a 2.303 here. Now, when you consider this equation, what you need to do is you can make two temperature dependencies, right? Let us say at T1 temperature, it will be EA by 2.303 RT1. And at T2 temperature, this is when your temperature does not change by a multiple of 10. If it changes by a multiple of 10, it becomes 2 to the power n. If it does not change by a multiple of 10, 305 to 307 Kelvin, only 2 degrees Celsius change. So for that, you need to use this. EA by 2.303 RT2, right? Now, what you can do is subtract both the equations. You'll get log K2 minus log K1. This is, let us say, equation A, this is B. Subtract A from B. You'll get log K2 minus K1. You'll get log K2 by K1 is equal to log A will get cancelled. You can see log A is getting cancelled. So when you simplify this, your expression will come out to be EA by 2.303 R 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. This is almost similar to Van't Hoff equation and Clapeyron equation which you have studied. This is almost similar to Van't Hoff and Clapeyron equation that you have studied. Right? Right? This is almost similar to Van't Hoff and Clapeyron equation which you have studied. In those equations, instead of EA, you used to write delta H. That is the only difference. Instead of EA, you used to write delta H. That is the only difference. Right? So remember these three formulas. This is your final equation, third equation. So for Arrhenius numericals, you need to remember three equations. This is one equation for solving numericals. Second equation, first equation. First equation will be rarely used, right? Clapeyron equation is taught in solutions. Athar, go and check the vapor equation. Vapor pressure dependence on temperature was taught there. Athar, you have forgot it. Please go and check again. It is covered in solution chapter. All right. So this is what you have, right? Now let us do numerical on this. You can see here the rate constant for the decomposition of some hydrocarbon is this. This is your K. If the energy of activation is given, what will be the value of pre-exponential factor? You have to find A. You will require lot of use of log here. For log, you can use your scientific calculator. For log, you can use your scientific calculators. Please start solving this. For log, you need the use of scientific calculators. You can use it. Or else exponential, whatever you want, you can calculate it from scientific calculators. The calculation is lengthy, so please make it carefully. You can use the calculator for solving the calculations. You get a 3-mark question from the third equation in your boards also. In your boards, you get a 3-mark numerical from this topic. Log K2 by K1 equation. All right, guys, we'll give you 50 seconds more for the calculation part. Right, people have started voting. I think so, Prashant, you are right. Yes, Neerja and Purvi. Kishore, check again. All right, so we are ending this on a count of 3, 2, 1. Now, you can see here, the correct answer is D. Actually, many of you have got it right. Right? There's nothing to worry much about. You have all the things given to you. So you have K is equals to A e to power minus EA by RT. Right? You have to find A. So A can be written as, you can take log and simplify this. You can use the log equation. You can use log equation. Log K is equals to log A minus EA by 2.303 RT. So log A is equals to log K plus EA by 2.303 RT. You can use this. K is given, EA is given. Temperature is also given. So log K is 2 log of 2.418 into 10 power minus 5 plus EA is 179.9 into 1000 to convert it into joule. Why joule? Because R value is in joule. So 2.303 into 8.314 into temperature here is 546 Kelvin. You can simplify this whole. You'll get the value of log A. You'll get some value of log A. Take A will become anti-log of X. So I'm not doing the calculation part here. You need to do the calculation part yourself, right? It is already done here and kept here, right? So log A will come out to be this much. Take anti-log on both sides. So you'll get this answer, right? Yeah. So now let us move ahead. Yeah, this is your second question, which you can try. The values of rate, you need to think which equation you will use for this. The value of rate constant at 300 Kelvin and 400 Kelvin are found to be this and this. So this is your T1, this is your T2, this is your K1, this is your K2. Find activation energy. You can use the third equation to solve this. You can use the third equation to solve this. This calculation is not tough. This calculation is not tough. It is pretty much doable. Previous type of numerical can be given in JEE, Prashant. Only the thing will be log and anti-log value will be given to you in JEE. Prashant, if it comes in JEE, you can never say that log and anti-log value will be given in exam. Nowadays, JEE mein calculative questions are asked. So don't assume that speculation ki JEE does not ask any question which has big calculations, especially in numerical type. Athar, you need not worry about JEE exams. They will give you the value of anti-log. You cannot calculate anti-log theoretically. Either you need to use log table or calculators. Yes, so you can start voting this out. Since the numerical type answers are there in JEE, so you can get calculative questions there also. In fact, it has come this year recently. Big calculations. Right. So only 15 of you have voted, and it's quite a good number of time which has passed for this. And the calculation for this is also not that difficult. I don't know why it is taking so much time. All right, so we'll end this on a count of 3, 2, 1. Now we are ending it now. So right, so it's a direct one. K1, K2 is given. So log K2 by K1. Log K2 by K1, that is 2.4 into 10 power minus 2 by 1.2 into 10 power minus 3 is equals to EA by 2.303 R. I would suggest you to remember the value of 2.303 R. It will save time in exam. 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. So 1 by T1 ki jagah you can write 1 by 300 minus 1 by 400. So you have to find EA. So this value comes out to be 2, 10, log 20. Log 20 can be written as 2 into 10. Log 2 plus log 10. That means this value is 1.3010 into 2.303 into R is 8.314. And this is equals to activation energy. This can be written as 400 into 300 and numerator mein you have 400 minus 300, 100. So I think you'll get 1200 here. So you'll get 1 by 1200. So which will be written here. You can calculate this, how much it is coming out to be. You can calculate this, how much it is coming out to be. So you're getting it to be okay. I think answer is not satisfying. Yes. Answer is not satisfying. None of the options are correct. None of the options are correct. So it should be 29 point. If you are making it in joule, it is 29830 joule. Right? Yeah. In kilojoule, it is 29.8 kilojoule. So none of the answers are satisfied. So none of the above is the correct answer. Okay? Right. So there are numericals which will be uploaded. You can practice them. Right. This is an important one. Please practice this. It is important for your all exams. Right. So we'll quickly wind up our collision theory. It's a smaller one, so it will not take much time, 5 minutes hardly. Collision theory, what it says, right? So collision theory says three things. First thing, for a reaction to occur, molecules must collide. Molecules must collide with each other. Right? This is the first condition. Second condition is collision must be effective. Collision must be effective. Now, what do you mean by effective collision? There are two things we mean by effective collision. One, not all molecules which collide with each other will give you product. They should have some minimum energy. So they should have minimum energy, and that minimum energy is known as what? Activation energy. So the molecules which are able to cross the threshold energy will only give you the product. Actually, it should be threshold energy. They should have a minimum energy of threshold energy. So they should have minimum energy of threshold energy. So the molecules having energy greater than threshold energy can only give you the product. What is the second criteria? Second criteria is proper orientation. Proper orientation. Not all molecules which collide with each other and have a minimum energy will give you product. They should collide with each other in a proper direction. Then only you'll get a products. So these are the postulates, or you can say these are the points which collision theory mentions, right? Now let us see the collision theory which we have done here also. In this, molecules are assumed to be hard spheres. They should undergo effective collision. What is effective collision? Activation energy of the reactant. Reactant energy should be greater than activation energy, or I would say the better word to say here, it will be energy of reactant should be greater than threshold energy. That is the ideal way of saying it, right? Then proper orientation. Proper orientation. These are the conditions for a reaction to occur. We have taken an example here. NO plus O3 gives you NO2 plus O2, right? See carefully. First case mein nitrogen, oxygen are coming close to each other. They collided with each other, but still reaction did not occur. But in this case, I changed the orientation. I made oxygen interact with oxygen. They collided, still no reaction. Then in this case only, what I did, I made the molecule come like this. Now this nitrogen, rather than colliding with this central oxygen, it collided with the side oxygen. And now the reaction occurred, you got NO2 and O2. That means this was considered as your proper orientation. We cannot decide the proper orientation by eyes. It is experimentally determined. You cannot say, sir, why not A, why not B? It is experimentally determined, right? So why, in a way you can say it, this central oxygen is not participating in the reaction because it is tightly bound by 2 oxygen. But the side oxygen is loosely held by only 1 oxygen. So therefore you can say this is easy to knock out side oxygens. So therefore this nitrogen knocks out this oxygen and you get NO2 plus O2. So in short, minimum energy, proper orientation. These 2 factors are very important for a reaction to occur. That is what is explained in terms of formula also here, right? So rate of a reaction depends upon the number of molecules which have energy greater than threshold energy. So molecules which have energy greater than or equal to threshold energy are this much. So basically this represents fraction of molecules, which was there in Arrhenius equation also. This represents fraction of molecules which have energy greater than threshold energy, right? Energy greater than threshold energy. So rate of a reaction is directly proportional to that number of molecules. If more number of molecules have energy greater than threshold energy, more will be the rate of the reaction. Now, more is the number of collision, more will be the reaction, but not just collision, effective collision. So number of effective collision, we should say. More is the number of effective collision, more will be the rate of the reaction, right? Now, more will be the probability of effective collision. If the probability of effective collision is more, again rate will be more. We'll not do the derivation of this. Again, it comes from statistical mechanics. ZAB ka formula also we can discuss. It also comes from statistical mechanics. So collision frequency, which is given by number of collision per unit volume per unit time, is known as ZAB, that is collision frequency. So collision frequency is number of collisions happening in a unit volume of the container in 1 second time. That is your collision frequency. So rate of a reaction is directly proportional to probability of effective collision, collision frequency, and fraction of molecules having energy greater than threshold energy. Correct? So this is what you get. Now, you can remove the proportionality constant and write it like this, right? Now, one thing you can understand here is rate of a reaction is written as K, concentration of reactant power N, right? Now, from here you understand that your P into ZAB, this represents your rate constant, right? P into ZAB represents your rate constant. P into ZAB represents your a constant, and e to the power minus EA by RT. E to the power minus EA by RT. So what you can do here is you can write it like this. This is a constant A, and this is your e to the power minus EA by RT, right? So if you combine these two, you get K as A into e to the power minus EA by RT, which is the Arrhenius equation only. So Arrhenius equation is obtained from this only, right? So if you want to write rate of a reaction will become P into ZAB into e to the power minus EA by RT into concentration of reactant, right? Actually, to ZAB se bhi you can find the concentration of reactant. Its formula includes number of molecules. Okay, so this is your collision theory. You will not get any numerical from this. There will be hardly any question from this. You should know what are these values. But in advance, you get some topics on collision theory. We'll discuss it probably in one extra class. right? Now this we will discuss it in advanced class. Effect of catalyst. Catalyst has only one effect. Catalyst decreases the activation energy barrier, right? This is the activated complex without catalyst. Without catalyst, and this is with catalyst. So how catalyst increases the rate of reaction? Catalyst increases the rate of reaction by, this is with catalyst, activation energy is this much, uncatalyzed. So in the presence of catalyst, the activation energy is catalyzed. So you can see activation energy in catalyzed reaction is less than activation energy in uncatalyzed reaction. So now since the catalyst decreases the activation energy, more number of molecules can cross the barrier, and more number of molecules can cross the barrier means fraction of molecules crossing the barrier or fraction of molecules having energy greater than threshold energy will be more. Hence, rate of reaction will be more, right? So this is the effect of catalyst. Reactant, activated complex, product. So activated complex ka energy is decreased by the catalyst. That's all is the function of catalyst. You all know catalyst definition, it increases rate of reaction without itself being consumed in reaction. Without itself being consumed in reaction, right? We'll discuss its detailed explanations and all in surface chemistry. There's a separate topic for it. Let us see in what numerical you can get. So you can apply your second equation of Arrhenius, that is log K is log A minus EA by 2.303 RT, right? So we know what is different. Activation energy is different. So when you take uncatalyzed rate, activation energy uncatalyzed, rest everything is same. Rate constant in catalyzed reaction, activation energy of catalyzed reaction. We made two equations. Now you subtract the two equations. Log K2 minus log K1. EA, log A will get cancelled. This minus this, right? So 1 by 2.303 RT will be common, right? So what you'll get? You'll get EA of uncatalyzed minus EA of catalyzed, right? And you know EA of catalyzed is less than EA of uncatalyzed, activation energy of uncatalyzed. So what does it mean? This means this whole term is what? Positive. That means log K catalyzed by K uncatalyzed is greater than 0, which means K catalyzed by K uncatalyzed is greater than 1. That means rate of a reaction in catalyzed is greater than rate of reaction in uncatalyzed. That is the meaning of this, right? We have proved it mathematically also. There's a numerical on this. We'll discuss it tomorrow and start our tomorrow's class with the numerical on this, right? Yeah, that's all. This is almost the end of your chapter. We'll discuss some problems on this and start our next chapter, right? That's all. Thank you all. We'll discuss some problems on this tomorrow and start our next chapter, that is surface chemistry. And today's quiz was, just a minute. Yeah, this is a symbol. The next chapter will be started tomorrow only. We'll devote half class, 45 minutes class for problem solving, around 5 problems. And then we'll go towards surface chemistry. This symbol was drawn to resemble a certain Roman god's trident. The 3 steps of the trident were modified and they end. Now there were 3 steps. Now they end in a circle, square, and a triangle. What does the symbol represent? Yes, it represents your USB cable. Circle, triangle, and square, right? All right. So let's meet tomorrow. We'll discuss some problems on Arrhenius and collision theory, and we'll start our next chapter. I have already answered at Kishore. Log K2 by K1 formula questions can be asked for 3 marks in your boards, Kishore. Kishore, I think you didn't observe. I had already answered that. I had told you while teaching there can be a 3-mark numerical on that. There can be a 3-mark numerical on this equation, right?